Welcome to Peculiar Happenings. I'm Shelby.
And I'm Leah. And we are back.
We're back.
We have returned
We're
from the
back.
dead.
We have.
Just kidding, guys. We weren't dead.
No, it was just a semester breakup, and my mom has said there's no music now, so I'm just gonna scoot it up a little, and then there we go.
That's crazy.
If there's no music, there's no music. We've never had music in the past, so
Yeah.
it's like,
It's just we're trying something
we're trying
new.
something new because Lee has Spotify Premium,
Yes, which is also
And-
new.
which is also new, and we have the Stranger Things season soundtrack pulled up.
Yes.
It's
All
supposed
the
to be.
seasons.
It's supposed to be playing one of the instrumental songs,
Yes.
which would be really cool if we could hear it. But
it would be, but
oh well.
well, we can always ask someone.
I know a lot of these songs. I'll just play them in my head. I'll imagine.
Play them in your head.
I'll imagine
yes.
that they're there.
Yes.
I'll imagine that.
That's so valid.
All right. So it has, as we said, it has been a semester.
Has been a semester.
We took
It's
a
been
bit of-
little while.
A little bit of an impromptu hiatus.
Yeah.
A little bit of a break because things were very busy.
Things are busy. Life happened, but we survived.
I'm
And
still
then-
gonna turn up the music a little bit. We're getting there. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there.
And I think we also realized that we missed the show a lot, and our lives weren't the same without it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I think honestly, it kind of worked out because I do love doing this show. I love chatting and talking about our silly little things. But I know last semester was crazy busy for you.
yeah,
It was also crazy busy for me. Unfortunately, it was too much to try to balance all my stuff with costume shop hours and radio station assistant stuff. So I'm not doing radio station assistant stuff
Yeah.
this semester. So hopefully, things should get back on track.
things should be back on track.
Yeah, and I think this is a good time we're doing it. It's at the end of the week,
Yeah.
7 to 8. No one else was in this slot,
Yeah,
which
it
I was very
completely
happy about.
Yeah, it was completely
Because
open.
this has been our usual time. Other than I
Yeah,
think the
I
very
think-
first time it was like 8 to 9.
Maybe
I want to say it was a little
I don't
later.
remember.
One of the other times.
maybe
but-
it just felt later.
Maybe
I
it
don't know.
did. Maybe it did just feel later at the end of a long school day.
Yeah.
Could be the case.
Could
Either
be.
way, I like this little range we've got here. I think like the 6 to 9 time frame.
Yeah,
I like
it's a
that.
good
I like that
time.
for the show. I like that.
It's a good time,
I know.
and
Yeah.
it fits with both our schedules
It
really well.
does.
And
It
it's
does.
it's a Friday,
Mhm.
so no one's really in the station, which I kind of
Mhm.
like. I get nervous thinking if people can hear me talking.
It
like,
is.
through
It can
the-
get a little more. I'll say it can get a little more nerve wracking during Radiothon. I think. Because sometimes you can actually hear like people talking outside or laughing
Yeah.
at things you say, and I'm like, oh, that's a lot of pressure.
That's scary.
That's a lot of pressure.
That's why I always get nervous when we do WCVF.
Mhm.
Sometimes when we do Radiothon.
Also, because we're not as used to it. That's not
Yeah.
our. That's not our home. This is
it's
our
not
home.
our home. This is our home.
This is our home.
This is where we started since
We
day
made this house
one.
a home.
We did.
Hmm. Yeah, I think we've gotten the hang of that though. I'm quite excited to see what we come up with for this semester's radiothon.
Me too. Me too.
So
I think it'll be fun. I
Mhm.
really enjoyed. I don't know about you, because I know you. One of the last ones you did was for your project.
Yes, that was actually last spring's.
Really?
Yeah, it's been 1 year already.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
Well, that was really fun. But I really enjoyed taking those quizzes and talking about
Yeah.
those questions. And my professor actually told me that
Mhm.
he had overheard us.
yeah.
talking about it, and I was like, "Oh, you were listening to Radiothon?" He was like, "Yeah, I logged in for a little bit at one point, and I thought I noticed you talking, and then I realized that you do have you said you had Stranger Things podcast."
That's awesome.
And I was like, "Yeah," and he was like, "I didn't know Joyce and Hopper had a thing in the show," and I was like, "Oh, I
mean,
could go on
once
a
you-
whole ramble
that-
about
that
this,
could be
Michael
that
Sheehan."
Could be a whole episode. Have we done it? We did the adults episode.
We did the adults episode,
We
but I
did.
don't think we touched on their relationship as much.
We didn't.
I'm not
Maybe-
sure.
Hey, could be
We'll
another
have to
episode.
listen
Could
to
be-
it again.
Could be another episode. Yeah, that's true. That's the truth.
We get to rambling on this show.
Yeah, which is how we fill up the whole hour time slot.
Yeah,
'cause
of
we're just
course.
that good.
Because
Where there's
what
no
would be a podcast without any side adventures?
Exactly.
It wouldn't be that fun.
Listen, that's what podcasts are for.
Yeah,
Well, that's
exactly.
why we do it here instead of live radio.
Yeah, that's why we started this
Yeah.
podcast, because our friends were sick of hearing us ramble about random
Yes.
things at the dinner table that
Mhm.
only we knew about.
Yeah.
Because some of our friends are, pardon my language, lame. Because they don't watch Stranger Things, or even like some of the stuff that Shelby and I get into as much.
Yeah, we're just that cool.
we
we
like
are
things on a
just
different
that
level than they do.
Yeah, and that's why we have the podcast. That's
why
why
we have the
we're the cool
podcast.
podcast people.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. So that was basically what we've been up to last semester. Just busy, not very fun.
Busy. Yeah.
Not very fun.
Doing
Very
major
odd
stuff.
times. Very odd times.
Yeah.
But now we're back, And I think one of the things we're going to talk about is just what have we been up to? Because we were, obviously, of course, we were still hanging out and watching stuff.
Of course.
And let me pull up my little Google Doc.
Yeah, we got a little list going.
See, we do. We made a list, and by a list, I mean 2 bullet points. Yes. And then our capability for chat is just going to take it from there, I think.
Oh, for sure.
And now I just have to wait for the Google Doc to load. I know one of the things I had on there, we were going to talk about some of the movies we watched, which I think we could start with one of your favorite movies that I'd never seen before we watched it together, which was Weird Science.
Yes. Weird Science. It's such a good
They weren't
movie.
lying. That science was weird.
That science
sure was weird. That was not false advertising.
It was absolutely so amazing. I loved it so much. I watched it when I turned 17, I believe. I had a 80s themed birthday party because
and I can't believe you didn't invite me.
I know.
It's
if
not
I had
like
known, I would have invited you.
It's not like you didn't even know I existed or anything.
Literally,
I'm really
I'm
offended.
so sorry.
True friends use time travel.
I wore my mom's shirt, technically from the 90s, but it very much gave 80s vibes. It was it was baggy, and it was from this concert she went to on her campus.
Mm-hmm.
And it had it was blue and purple tie-dye swirl.
Ooh.
And then I wore these big heart earrings that were like silver heart earrings.
Do you have any pictures? This sounds fun.
I wore. Let me look, Shelby. Don't tempt me with a good time.
And we'll just do a very in-depth description.
Yeah,
for our listeners.
Exactly. I did my hair half up, half down, and we made root beer floats, and my parents bought me a multi-pack of 4 movies, and one of them was Weird Science, and I made them watch Weird Science with me.
What else was in there?
Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, and there was one more. Weird Science and something else that I can't remember the other one.
Was it Teen Wolf?
It might have been.
Because I think I saw that exact same movie collection in the $5 DVD bin at Walmart. Which, by the way,
it's
every
a fantastic movie collection.
Every time I go there and buy a DVD from the $5 bin, they need to see my driver's permit to confirm my age. I don't know why. I mean, some of the movies I guess are horror movies or R-rated, but some of the movies I've been buying, I got Paranorman there last semester, and that's like a kid's movie. It's not a kid's movie, but kids can watch it. It doesn't have anything bad in it.
I mean, you watched it as a kid.
Yeah, it's great. I love that movie so much. But the movie I got last week was An American Werewolf in London, which is really fun, which you might enjoy. It is kind of heavy on the practical effects and sometimes more gory stuff, though, but it's kind of silly. I saw someone describe that movie as the whole movie was basically just them trying to see how many songs about the moon they could fit into an hour 30-minute runtime.
That's amazing.
And I was like, that is an accurate description. There are so many songs about the moon in that movie. I think there's even 2 different versions of the same song. I think there's 2 versions of Frank Sinatra's Blue Moon in that movie, which is really funny.
That is funny.
And they've got Bad Moon Rising by Creedence Clearwater Revival. We should watch it sometime. I think it'd be fun. I think you'd appreciate it. But anyway, to get back to the topic of Weird Science.
Yes. Fantastic movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember. I know we watched it midday one day. I think you came over to my room. And we sat on my bed, Winnie curled up between us, and we just watched it.
Winnie, Lee's cat, Winnie.
Yes,
he's such a sweet little boy. He's so small. He's not that small. He's just small compared to Tippy. My cat, he's a big boy. He was so cute though. He just curled up in my lap and started purring.
Yes, he was very cozy. Mm-hmm. He loved that 2 people were just sitting watching a movie where he could sit on them, so he could lay. But it was a good movie, and I think Shelby, every time a scene was coming up that was even crazier than the one before, I was waiting for your reaction because I was just so excited.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Lisa's in the movie, her outfit changes. I knew you would love some of her outfits. She just was iconic.
Honestly, the outfit that stands out to me the most is one of the ones more towards the end of the movie. I don't remember the rest of the outfit, but she had 2 these bright neon colored plastic watches that were matching, and I was like, that is a look, and I think it matched her shoes too.
Yeah,
which was incredible.
I think so. I think she wears a leather outfit at one point. That's
and then she
rock
had
star vibes with spikes.
Yes,
that's
when she's at the mall and they go to pick her up in the giant car. So how would you describe the plot of the movie for someone who hasn't seen it?
Oh,
Two teenage boys.
Two teenage boys.
Make a woman with the power of supercomputer instilling
Yes.
energy from like secret government base.
They get an idea from a horror movie one night when they're home alone.
I think they're watching probably Bride of Frankenstein.
I think they
and
were.
They're nerds. They have trouble talking to girls. They get bullied at school.
So they're like, let's make a girl. And it was this whole joke. They hooked up like a Barbie to their computers. They hacked into this big computer mainframe. They have some cool visual effects.
All while Weird Science by Oingo Boingo is playing, which I love Oingo
it
Boingo.
is so good.
So fantastic.
It's a whole montage.
It's a whole
scene.
montage.
And then the next thing you know,
alarms are blaring at the government facility as like
trying to
one
figure out
kid's
what's
hacking
going
in. He's
on.
like, I don't know about this.
The
And then there's a guy at the government facility like throwing his newspaper away and be like, oh my gosh. Yeah, the one kid's sweating bullets.
He's sweating. They have bras on their heads.
Yeah.
For some weird
For some reason.
We don't know.
We don't know.
But that was just part of the process.
Hey, it's weird science.
Yeah. And then
it's not normal science. It's weird science.
The girl comes to life. Her name is Lisa. And she kind of has these magic powers where she can kind of make anything happen or any reality happen.
I would say godlike powers.
Yes.
We're talking full scale reality manipulation.
Oh, yeah.
She's creating things from nothing.
She is creating like
pulling Corvettes out of thin air.
Yeah,
people.
She is like totally altering these boys' confidence, and that's kind of at the end of the day the plot of the movie.
That's to
the build
core
up their
plot.
confidence and make sure that like because she knows how great they are. She wants other people to know how great they are. And in the end, they find other girls that they like. She builds up their confidence enough that they kind of go for the girl. They get the girl. And then Lisa's job is done, and she leaves.
Where does she go?
She goes, and the final scene is her telling a bunch of other guys in the gym to hit, like, drop it and give her 20.
Oh,
and she's sitting there, like, flinging her whistle around in this, like,
I forgot about that.
Like, this gymnastic, like, 80s gymnastic.
Like the leotard
outfit,
and the tights and the leg warmers.
Yes, and she's, like, swinging her whistle, and then she
that.
smiles.
She's like, at the very end, she becomes, like, the new gym teacher at the school to whip all the other boys into shape.
Yeah, exactly.
That is a crazy movie. I'm just trying to remember, what are some of my favorite scenes now? I think part of the problem is part of my brain is combining weird science with some scenes from Pretty in Pink. And I'm trying to like pull them apart. I'm like, no, those are different movies.
Different movies.
I like the scene where his mean older brother gets turned into like this weird slug monster that looks like Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah,
that's pretty funny.
I like when the grandparents show up to the party and she freezes them.
About the grandparents.
Yeah, and she puts them in this cupboard because she was, kind of being mean to Wyatt. She was being mean to Lisa about her grandson. And Lisa kind of freezes them and puts them in the this cupboard, and it is really funny because the brother discovers them. It's a whole montage.
Well, because it's an 80s movie, of course, are the two main characters are mega rich. Like the one kid is living in an actual straight up mansion. Yeah. And
the other one basically lives with him because there's 2 beds in his room.
They're besties. They're
besties.
But I was gonna say, of course, because it's an 80s movie, there's a plot where like the parents go away for the weekend, and of course there's like this huge, massive party being thrown at the house.
Yeah,
and at one point,
throws.
That Lisa throws. They didn't want to throw it, but Lisa's like, yeah, we're gonna get your social interaction skills into line, and they're like, Lisa, what are you doing? It kind of all goes off the rails, but then she reels it back in. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
But his grandparents show up at one point.
Yes, and they're like, my sweet grandson would never do this thing. We don't know who you are. Like, you're this random lady that you're claiming to know our grandson.
Reasonable reaction. If I was a grandparent and I came home to where my teenage son was, and there was this adult woman talking about how she knew them and was like throwing a party, I would also be not thrilled.
I would be concerned.
I would be concerned. I'd be like,
who
are
you?
you?
Something a little rude at one point.
Yeah.
And then Lisa kind of has enough. One of my favorite scenes, I don't know if you remember, when they go out to the bar the first time.
I remember because you're talking about how you love that scene. It's
I love
really
that scene.
funny.
It is so funny because he's like, I say. And then I can't even do the accent that he's doing, but it is so funny. And they basically go out drinking to this bar, and they end up sitting up with all of these older folks after a lot of people have left, kind of regulars of the bar, and they're all talking and making jokes, and one of them
he's like
is
picking
telling
up
a
the
story.
accent from these older people, which is really funny.
And he's like telling this story of like this girl that didn't want him or something. or that didn't want his friend or something, and he
Mhm.
has this hilarious accent. He has a cigar in his mouth, and like the whole scene is hilarious.
It is. It's
It is.
a ridiculously big cigar. It's
It's
very
crazy.
funny. It's comical. I like that scene a lot. I think the party scene is also fun just because it goes so off the rails at the end. Where like
All the
she's
outfits.
oh the outfits. Okay, the outfits are really good.
Oh yeah,
The outfits are fantastic.
did an amazing
Costume
job.
designer for that movie, fantastic job.
she ate and
Mhm.
left no crumbs.
But there's the one scene at the end, like at the party, where Lisa's sort of forcing their hand into standing up. So she creates like these, like Mad Max type bandits that invade the house and like
On
take the girls they're
motorcycles.
interested in hostage, and they have to stand up to them and fight them off, and they like gain confidence in doing so.
That's like the climax of the movie.
Yeah.
That's like the action pinnacle scene,
Mhm.
and then they have to like stand up to one another, like to those people. And it's really funny. It's a
Yeah.
great scene. And then afterwards, they get the girls, they drive them home, they give them a kiss, and they make it home, and everything is
Happily
fixed
ever
in the
after.
house. Yep.
Happily ever after.
Yep.
Robert Downey Jr. is in this movie too, which I
Yeah.
didn't notice at first, and I was watching. I was like, "Say, this one chap looks awful familiar.
He looks a little.
Is that Robert Downey Jr.?" And
It was.
It was.
It was indeed.
He was one of the bullies. There's a scene where like the bullies are on the second floor of a mall looking over a balcony, and the two main characters are like sitting below them, and they just dump slushies on their heads.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, did people do that?
Yeah,
That's kind
my
of
favorite plot
uncreative.
about the bullies
Yeah.
is that their girlfriends are the girls that the two main characters end up with in the
Yeah,
end.
they end up the two main love interests end up leaving their current boyfriends because they realize these guys actually are lame, and it's like, yeah,
They're really mean.
they are. I don't know why they were with them in the first place
No,
in the beginning.
absolute
You know,
jerks.
like, the bar was
Probably
low.
for their looks, but even their personally, they weren't that attractive. I think the main characters had more looks and more personality than the bullies
It
did.
could have been like a status thing because weren't they like
Maybe they were probably rich.
they didn't. I don't think they were popular per se, but they kind of had like the bad boy energy going for them. I would say,
and that was attractive.
I guess.
Apparently.
I guess. Apparently enough.
I'm just hearing this information.
Yeah, but what else was there? Okay, so that was Weird Science. I want to rewatch that again because again, I've only seen it once. I want to like fully digest it.
I don't think Gabs watched it, and I doubt Michelle or Leanne have. So
Oh,
we could
definitely
make them
not.
all watch
Definitely-
it.
We could make everyone watch it. That would be fun.
It's a good movie for a movie night because it's just so absurd and it's so nostalgic. Like
See-
at least to me, it felt that way. So
The only thing is, Leanne and Michelle, as previously discussed, do not have the same appreciation of camp that you and
but
I
this
share.
isn't like campy
we
horror.
love it's
We
not
love
campy
camp.
horror. It's campy comedy. They just don't like camp. Is the thing. Because I show them. Have you ever seen Little Shop of Horrors?
Yes,
I showed them Little Shop of Horrors. They didn't like
they didn't like it.
it. No.
That's terrible.
See, I think we like the camp. We like the 80s.
We do. We really do. Little Shop's amazing. Which
Mhm.
Milo Manheimen, one of my favorite actors, he was on Disney for a while, but he has moved to like a show called School Spirits. I really like.
I've heard of. I've seen.
it's very
I've seen
good.
ads for that. Is it any good?
Yes.
You know what? We also need to keep watching at some point. Dead Boy Detectives. We
Oh,
watched
yes, we do
one
need to watch
episode of
that.
that over the summer.
did.
I thought it was fun. I thought the
It
pacing was
was.
a little fast, but I really liked the premise.
Yeah,
And we didn't watch it.
we didn't watch it anymore.
We
have
Maybe
to.
that should be on our
Um,
list next.
That should be on our list. But
Yeah.
he is taking up the role of Seymour on an off-Broadway version.
Oh,
of-
that's lovely.
yeah. So,
Lovely. We'd
I'm very
love to
excited.
see it.
And do you remember Jade West from Victorious? Did you ever see Victorious as a
I
kid?
never saw Victorious because we didn't have cable, but I do know who you're talking about. Vaguely.
Yeah, she is going to be the why is her name leaving my head? Audrey.
Audrey. Oh, that's
Yeah.
lovely. I
So
love that.
they have a fun cast for that. I think it'll be cool. But anyways,
Oh,
that's
see
unrelated.
Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
At a
Especially
theater.
off Broadway. It would be.
Oh
I feel
my
like a lot easier to go to, like get into.
Oh my god, yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong, but
I would just. Well, it might be a little less expensive.
yeah.
It's probably less expensive because when we went to New York City last year, we were looking at some of the shows that were playing there, and we ended up seeing Hadestown, which is amazing. I love Hadestown, but some of the bigger names like Little Shop was crazy expensive for tickets. And I was like,
Especially
okay.
on Broadway versions.
Mhm.
It's just that's crazy.
yeah. But anyway, so that was Weird Science.
That was Weird Science.
My Google Doc still has not loaded, so I'm just going to be going off of memory. My document loaded.
It loaded.
All right. So one of the other movies we watched, this movie, was one that I watched first, and it came out last year. Around this time, actually, I do believe it was February or spring of last year. I saw the trailers for this movie. I was so excited. I watched the movie. At first, I didn't like it as much. I think my hopes for it were a little high. But upon rewatching it now, probably 4 or 5 times, I love this movie. I'm obsessed with it. Lisa Frankenstein.
Great movie.
Oh my God. What a movie. I love it.
I love about that movie. And after, I would love you to explain the plot.
Yes.
I just
I'll give
love
a quick summary after.
that the corpse, like what's his name?
He doesn't
that
have
actor.
a name.
No,
He's
I mean
the creature?
the actor.
Oh, Cole Sprouse?
Yes, Cole Sprouse. Acting as the creature, did not say a single word the entire movie. He only grunted, and yet the performance was amazing. That's all I have to say.
So basically, the plot of the movie is Lisa is a teenager in high school. Obviously, that's how these things always start. And basically, the plot of the movie is after a series of events, this Victorian corpse gets struck by lightning and brought back to life. And the whole movie is sort of their shenanigans as he's sort of like head over heels infatuated with her as she's sort of navigating the life around her. And it starts at the very beginning of the movie. She is recovering from the untimely murder of her mother.
That she saw happen.
That she saw happen, which was a very, very traumatic event for poor Lisa. But
so she's kind of like, people look at her as kind of dark. Like she has this like sadness and like people associate a weirdness with
she's
her.
a loner. People aren't really nice to her. People don't really talk to her. So one of the plot points the movie starts with is she spends a lot of time hanging out in this old cemetery called Bachelor's Grove, and she tends to the creature's grave before he gets brought back to life. And he ends up
has like a head.
It's got the monument. It's a sculpture of him, and she talks to it. She reads all that sort of thing. It's actually quite sweet. Yeah. It's quite sweet. But the plot of the movie, he gets brought back to life. She has to sort of hide this like reanimated corpse in her bedroom, and shenanigans ensue, and they end up starting to sort of murder people.
It was
together.
An accident.
It was an
accident
accident at first. The first time it was in self-defense because she, of course, has a crazy stepmother who's going to send her away to an institution.
Yeah, because the stepmom is convinced she's against.
Yeah.
That Lisa is against her. Yeah. And it thinks she's weird and wants her out of her house, so she wants to send her to like basically a mental hospital. Yeah. But this is the 80s, and she wasn't gonna send her to a good place.
No.
Let's just say that.
Yeah, the stepmother was not a good person. So the creature ends up bashing her over the head with like a sewing machine in self-defense. And basically that's the rest of the plot of the movie. The rest of the plot of the movie is, so the creature, of course, is a reanimated corpse, is like missing some limbs and stuff. The rest of the movie is them picking off different people and basically fixing the creature up.
Yeah.
And this is, now, get ready, this is my favorite plot point in the entire movie. You might be thinking, okay, well, that's great. They have the body parts. They sew them back on. That doesn't make it functioning. You know how they do make it functioning? There is a faulty tanning bed that belongs to Lisa's stepsister, Taffy, in their backyard in a garage that electrocutes people.
Yep.
But it has reanimation properties. The creature goes in the tanning bed. They turn it to a certain setting. They turn it on for a little. And then, bam, the body parts are good as new. The creature is, like, literally sort of coming back to life as the movie goes on.
Yeah. Losing less of those corpse-like features.
Such an absurd concept.
Yeah.
Hey, what if we had a movie where this Victorian corpse gets brought back to life and there's a tanning bed in the backyard that has reanimation properties? I just love it. I just love it.
The song "Psycho Killer" is playing right now as we talk about them.
Perfect. That's perfect. You know, that's a good song. That's a good song for the movie.
That is.
I love that movie so much. It means a lot to me. It's a good movie. It's funny. It's got real moments. It's got sweet moments. It's got funny moments.
There's a great piano scene.
There's a great piano scene.
Because the creature used to play piano. And he dies shortly after he wrote a song for the love of his life from when he existed.
Because the opening of the movie is like, it's the opening credits, but you've also got the scene going on in the background, sort of detailing the creature's life up until he died.
It's like papery, kind of animated.
It's animation.
So it's not like actually...
Like shadow puppets.
Yes.
Shadow puppets.
Shadow puppets, that's what it was. It was really good, and you kind of get backstory in his life, and he kind of lived a sad life after the woman he fell in love with and was to be married, I believe, fell in love with someone else and left him. And he died shortly after. But at the end of the movie... Lisa and him get all the parts he needed. He becomes a man. You know, things are kind of trailing back to them. They've killed a few people now.
Yeah, at this point they have murdered several people, and
the
they've
sister
been tied
saw.
to it. And the sister saw it. One of the people gets murdered right in front of the sister, and that's a scene we cannot describe on air.
Yeah, that's a little too.
That's
it's not PG-13.
No, we cannot describe that one on air. If you are interested, watch the movie yourself. It's great. I highly recommend
It's
it.
a good movie, yeah. But they end up getting together, and then she
ends up using the tanning bed to sort of like, quote unquote, fake her death. I think it is implied she actually did die for a little bit because it's magic tanning bed. Which, by the way, fun detail. I never noticed this, but I saw some like behind the scenes stuff where they zoomed in. The tanning bed like company brand name is Kiss of Life.
Oh, that's great.
It's so good.
That's great. It's like a neon tanning bed too. It's like bright pink or orange.
Yeah,
or
it's like this bright magenta with like this
yeah.
teal piping around the edge.
It's beautiful.
It's fantastic.
But the ending's really fun, and like I said, the whole time the creature doesn't speak, and then at the end of the movie, after the stepsister and then Lisa's dad are at Lisa's grave,
because everybody thinks she dies because he turns the tanning bed, and they plan this. So she goes in the tanning bed. He turns it to Max Bronze. The whole shed in their backyard like bursts into flames.
Yeah, and I think technically my interpretation. I don't know if we want to talk about this. My interpretation is she does die.
Yeah,
and
but
it
then
brings
the bed
her
brings
back
her
as
back
like
to
a
life,
corpse.
but in an altered state, similar to the creature.
So the final scene is Taffy, the stepsister, who is wearing the
rosary, because there's a rosary that was her mother's that she gave to the creature, that's how she knew who the creature was when he came back to life, and then she
Lisa
ended up giving it back to
Lisa right before she leaves. Kind of takes care of her sister because her sister saw them kill someone. And then
but her
she gives her the rosary and says that, I'll always love you, and then leaves, and then, they kind of fake her death. But my hypothesis is that they did actually, she killed herself.
because we do,
she did die.
At the very end, we do see, it opens, we've got the creature sitting on a bench, and we hear him speak for the first time in the film.
Yes, he's reading from a book.
And do you want to know a really fun detail? The poem he's reading is, I forget if it's Oh Mary or Oh Mary Dear. It's To Mary by Percy Shelley.
Oh, that's good. And and so they're sitting, and Lisa is laying down listening. And the part that makes it so much better is right before that, when Taffy's looking at Lisa's gravestone. At the bottom, someone had written "my wife,
beloved wife,"
and she's kind of confused by that. But then it insinuates that she and the creature went off together, and they now live as living corpses forever.
Yeah, or in some sort of state of supernatural animation.
Yes.
Now, from the description, this sounds like a morbid movie. I have to stress this: it's not really. It's a black comedy.
Yeah,
it's a little creepy. It's a little deep sometimes, but it's at its core, it's a comedy.
It was such a fun movie.
So there are some scenes
so bright and colorful.
It is, and the visuals are stunning. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I love it. There's also a sequence because Lisa, part of a fun little character trait that we get that I kind of wish we saw more of, but I still think works. She really likes silent movies because after she saw her mother get murdered, she for several months did not speak. And she even says in the movie she was diagnosed with like traumatic mutism. And I think the detail that she likes silent movies is so good. Because, excuse me.
Oh, never mind. I thought that was the name of the song.
I think I just burped. Anyway.
That's okay.
Pardon me. But
Pardon you, sir.
Pardon me. But I think part of the implication is she found comfort in that because they were silent like her. And it's just, it's so good because then he spends the whole movie listening to her. She finally has someone she can talk to.
Yeah, and he kind of it's just
it's
there
a sweet
for her.
Movie at its core. I love it.
He kind of he's gonna sound like it isn't a good relationship, but he kind of like does things for her and is just there for her, but like in a way where no one has ever cared about her other than her mom, and her mom died. Like her dad's a good guy, but he kind of falls under this spell of this like evil stepmom.
I would say,
and even I think likes the stepsister a little bit more.
I would say even outside of the stepmom's sort of mean influence, I think the dad is just, and I don't know if this is just implied what he's like or if it's because the murder of his wife, but so the dad is played by the same actor that plays Ted in Stranger Things, the dad in Stranger Things. That's kind of like the deadbeat dad that he's kind of there, but he doesn't do much.
Yeah.
Kind of does that again in this movie. And then,
very much so.
We should talk about Taffy.
I love Taffy.
Taffy was so nice because she was sort of the peppy popular girl cheerleader to Lisa's sort of outsider weirdo.
Yeah.
But it was refreshing to see a character like that was genuinely nice.
She was.
She was.
I think she still cared about her popularity and did at times. I was like, Taffy, like,
you gotta get together.
Prioritize,
girl.
Yeah. Like, I feel like she kind of did talk down to Lisa a few times, but at the same time, she did genuinely care for her, and all the things she did for her was out of the care that she had for her. And when she died, even though she literally watched Lisa and the corpse,
the creature,
the creature,
basically
kill the person,
murder
that
someone next to her,
someone that she was intimate with and liked. But the reason that happened is because that was the person Lisa liked, and
it was sort of a betrayal. It was kind of like a love triangle where they both like the same guy, but the guy only really liked one of them, and that upset Lisa. And I should stress at this point, this reanimated Victorian corpse plays the straight man to Lisa's character, because as the movie goes on, she is quite unhinged. She's very ready to be like, okay, yeah, I guess we just got to kill people to get body parts for this guy, which I think is kind of funny when you've got the Victorian corpse who's like sort of the voice of reason, who can't even speak, but he's the voice of reason.
And he literally just sits there and gives her a look or like a grunt, and she's like, fine.
And like, and she's like, what? She's like, I love so this movie.
It's great.
To get back to the point of Taffy, she was such an interesting character, I think, because I agree she definitely doesn't say the nicest things at times. I feel like she comes off as ignorant or tone deaf sometimes, but like her intentions were pure. She truly did care about Lisa as her sister. She was trying to help her in the way that she knew how, in her own way of like, oh, we have to have you get to parties so you can socialize. You can only interact with like the right people at school so you can get into the quote unquote right circles, so you can't like interact with nerds or losers or anything like that. She was in her own kind of, I would say, blindsided way. She was trying to help Lisa.
Yeah.
And she was very kind.
At the end, when she wears the rosary, it is it's really sweet, because even though all this happened, Lisa did tell her before, it's the last scene that they're in together. Lisa does say, I love you, and you really were a sister to me. And I think Lisa at that point even knew that she was kind of screwed over.
Yeah, she knew
it wasn't ending well for her.
There wasn't really a way to get out of this.
Yeah, well, even though it did end well in the sense that she did get with, the creature, and they could go off together and be happy, but she did have to, it was her saying goodbye to Taffy. And Taffy does wear the rosary, continues to. However, I said this when we were talking after the movie ended. I think one of the best outcomes was Taffy and the stepdad, kind of being there for each other, because I think they were both the kinder characters who did care. The stepmom, we didn't like her anyways.
She was quite rude to Lisa.
Yeah, and it was sad to see Lisa's character go from their family. Like, they think she's passed, even though she is kind of this reanimated figure now. I think that the stepdad and Taffy were the two people that cared about Lisa a lot more than anyone realized.
Yeah.
And I think for Taffy, the stepdad was the father figure she always kind of needed. And then to the stepdad, I think Taffy was also, a daughter he never had.
Yeah.
Not that he didn't love Lisa. He loved Lisa. That was his child. But after their mother died, Lisa kind of pulled away and didn't really care about anyone else anymore.
Which I wonder, it'd be interesting to see, because we never really see the story follows Lisa, so obviously we don't really see much about her dad. But I wonder if her dad was different too before, which I mean, obviously, I would imagine.
But I think in the end, they still had each other, even though they lost two people they cared about. And I think there was some beauty to that ending, even though it sounds a little morbid. And I'm not saying that they care any less about the people they lost, but it was good to see these characters still have someone.
It is. It's good. It's kind of like it's a horror comedy. It's a little morbid, but I love it so much. And I saw someone say something very interesting, which is that the movie has this kind of campy, silly, funny vibe, because it's kind of from Lisa's perspective. And if the movie were to be seen from, say, Taffy's perspective, it would probably be more like a classic 80s slasher movie. Probably. You've got that tension, you've got that more horror aspect, that bad things are happening in this town. It could be any one of us.
Yeah.
It's a small town. Everyone knows everyone.
Exactly. And I think it would have that feeling of suspense, like, her mother's gone missing, and another student goes missing, and then like what's happening, and then the scene with her kind of partner boyfriend person thing that Lisa had liked, that Taffy did lie to Lisa about, which was a little sad in the end, but I mean,
in the grand scheme of all the other transgressions people committed against Lisa in the movie, that is not at all an issue. What are you looking at?
Oh, I was just looking at the WDVL managers. Sorry, I got distracted.
So wait, where? Oh,
the photos of
the
Elephant.
photos. Sorry, you started looking at someone. I was like, what? What's wrong?
No,
is there someone else here?
I had a short attention span all of a sudden.
No,
I just
you're
went,
fine.
oh, what's that?
But hold on, I'm getting distracted. I'm looking at what music we're playing right now. I don't even. What song is this? Oh. I don't even. Some of these. I'm gonna play a different. Can I play a different song? Because some of these are just odd. Let's do California Dreamin' by the Beach Boys. That'll be nice.
That is fun.
Can I skip around?
Yeah,
on some
of course.
Yay, music! Yay, music! I'll listen to this later, probably in the weekend. I'll see how the music comes up, and hopefully we'll get the hang of it. Hopefully, we should ask someone and be like, why does the sound not come through the headphones?
For sure.
Sometimes
We can also make our own curated playlist.
We could. Oh my goodness!
Out of
yes.
songs we like from this and other songs like from Oingo Boingo or stuff that's appropriate and that we like.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I love Lisa Frankenstein. It's an odd little movie.
Yeah.
It's perfect for me personally.
Oh, for sure. And it's Lisa Frankenstein February. So
It's Lisa Frankenstein February.
So we have to talk
So
about
there's this new holiday I invented called Lisa Frankenstein February. It's for the entire month of February. I talk about Lisa Frankenstein to all my friends,
It's
and they all
beautiful.
love it. They love
love
it
it.
so much. It's definitely not driving my roommates insane.
How could they get insane from Lisa Frankenstein?
I watched it again this past weekend when I was making the cookies that I gave you.
Beautiful.
It was great. It was great because everyone else was like napping upstairs in their rooms. And I was like, well, I'm making cookies. I can put whatever I want on the TV. And it was Lisa Frankenstein. It was either gonna be Lisa Frankenstein or Scream, but Scream was a little long.
Yeah.
I still think you might like it.
I would be willing to watch. I just think we need the right environment.
Yeah, I think it might sort of test your limits for gore in some ways. It's more of a horror movie than some of the other horror comedy we've watched, but there are comedic elements, and I think you would like it. Before Scream, though, I think we should watch Army of Darkness, because that is just straight up camp comedy horror.
Yeah.
Nothing makes sense.
And
Ash
the
Evil
one
Dead.
before it, so
You've seen Evil Dead 2 already.
Yes, I'm prepared.
It's the direct sequel. What more do you need? It's such a ridiculous movie, and I love everything about it. It's
everything
so
about
good.
It's crazy. I remember I went into my friend Devin's room when we lived in McGinnis, and it was after we had watched it, and they said they were watching a horror movie, and I was like, oh, like I'm probably not gonna want to go because depending on the type of horror, which I know Devin watches a lot more like modern horror, like not as much 80s horror, but they do love a good kind of cheesy movie when it comes to that.
Love a good camp.
And they were like, I was like, what are you watching? And they said, I'm watching Evil Dead. And I said, oh, I love that movie. And Devin was like, really? And I was like, yeah. So I went down and I finished watching it with them. It was the second half, though, so I didn't see, like, the beginning build-up or anything. But that's okay.
That's fine.
Because I kind of knew the plot already. But they were pretty surprised I was willing and ready to watch a horror movie. Because I have said to them multiple times that I would leave the room if we chose a horror movie to watch. And not out of any hate to them. I just know I wouldn't enjoy it.
You know your limits, and that's fair. And when we do watch horror stuff, I do try to specifically go for some of the stuff that I also, because I like a bit of usual horror, but I also like some of the stuff that's on the campier side, that's on the sillier side. That's my personal favorite flavor. So I try to make sure I find stuff that I think you enjoy. Like, I think you would also enjoy Reanimator.
Yes.
That one is intended to be a serious horror movie, but the budget and the acting and everything else does not suggest that. It's this ridiculous, over-the-top, silly movie. Bride of Reanimator, even more so.
Amazing.
I think you would like it, and I do have the first Reanimator on DVD now.
Yes. So we have to watch it.
I can pull up. We can pull up
Oh,
Reanimator.
Yes,
but I do think you would enjoy it.
Oh, for sure.
There's also, I know, we have a lot of Scooby-Doo movies to watch.
Yes.
We need to watch Chill Out Scooby-Doo, and we'll do it before winter is over. I swear to you, because now we've watched Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost, which is one of my favorites.
Yes.
So we'll watch Chill Out Scooby-Doo, I swear.
Yes. The reason I put that movie on our list because we can kind of get to other movies we've watched, but we watched Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost because obviously we love Scooby-Doo in this household. We
love Scooby-Doo.
So
we have our second Scooby-Doo episode. We have the recording.
Yes.
We just got to get it on YouTube.
We have to get it on YouTube. So if you want to listen to that, you can.
But not yet because it's not out yet.
Soon.
Soon.
Some of the movies that I had as a kid that were the movies of Scooby-Doo, I had the live action that I made you watch. Which
I did too.
Basically, The Story Begins movie.
Yes, Scooby-Doo does the Breakfast Club, but also with ghosts.
Yeah, but they literally just replaced the Breakfast Club plot with teenage kids.
And also there's ghosts.
And there's ghosts,
by this
and it does happen
guy.
over a few days. But they do the first episode, they are in detention, and that's how the characters meet.
They're specifically in detention in the library, and I think they bond over their love for detective stories.
Yes, except Shaggy.
Except Shaggy. Shaggy is in a world
he kind
of
bonds with them because he doesn't have friends, and it's kind of a sad plot point. But they do end up liking him, and they become friends. Yeah. The second movie they made in it was so crazy, and I don't think about that as connected. It's so
a direct-to-DVD sequel. The budget was so low they did not have the money to have like the CGI Scooby, so there's just no Scooby-Doo in most.
And
of the
there
movies.
was just random
there's random
song
musical numbers.
Breaks.
There's two at least.
There's two, and
two.
It made no sense. It just was not good. So in my mind, if you want to watch Scooby-Doo, The Story Begins from I think it's like 2013 or something, watch that. Do not watch the second
2009.
Maybe maybe it was before that.
I don't remember.
But I had that movie that I watched frequently. I had the other Scooby-Doo's, the 2003.
Oh, the ones that I watched, Spooky Island.
I had those two,
God,
Spooky Island, and then the other monster one. I can't remember what it's called now.
Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed?
Yes, Monsters Unleashed. I had those two. I had the flippable disc. And then I had Chill Out Scooby-Doo, and I think that was pretty much the only like movies that we owned DVD-wise. I would just watch others when we had them. Oh, I also had the Pirates one when they go to the Bermuda Triangle.
What one?
Yeah, the pirate one when the ghost pirates invade the ship and they're all on like vacation with Fred's parents and Fred's parents are in it.
We gotta put that one on the list. I don't remember that one.
Okay, well, we're watching it. They go to the Bermuda Triangle.
I watched a lot of the crazy Scooby-Doo movies in my day because we'd rent them off like Netflix digitally. Because I remember that was like new and we were like, wow, that's so exciting. So we watched
them
a lot
from the Red Box.
I think we got them through either the library or the Red Box. Yep. I think we got. I think my family was sick of watching Scooby-Doo by a certain point, but I kept trying to get. I remember there was one time there was like a Scooby-Doo and Kiss movie, like Kiss the Band.
I remember that.
And I was like, "Look, Mom, they have Scooby-Doo and Kiss. You like Kiss, right? We should watch it." That did not work.
Darn.
It was funny though because I watched the original, the live action Scooby-Doo so much. I think my parents were sick of it, but it's like, joke's on you guys. I'm 20 and I'm still talking about these movies.
They're so good. I have Scooby-Doo socks I wear on a regular basis. I'm wearing fuzzy socks right now, so not those.
I'm wearing my Mystery Science Theater 3000 socks.
That's beautiful.
From the live show we went to. That was quite funny.
Quite funny.
But
yeah, I really like Chill Out Scooby-Doo. I watch that one a lot because it starts off with the gang. It's kind of later on when they are not done with like monster hunting or like unmasking, like mystery solving type stuff anymore.
Have they just kind of gone their separate ways? I know that's how a lot of movies are set
but
up.
It's Velma and Daphne and Fred and all them have convinced everyone that they need to go on a vacation.
Ooh, okay.
So they go to Paris. It opens with a scene with them. Or I guess it doesn't open with it, but the beginning scene with Daphne, Velma, and Fred is they're in Paris. They're eating croissants. Velma's reading, a newspaper.
Wait, I might have seen this movie. Is the plot that Shaggy and Scooby like get on the wrong plane?
They get on the wrong plane
and
like
Antarctica
or
something?
They end up in like the Himalayas or something. And this small town up in this like snowy area, and everyone is leaving the town because there are rumors of like an abominable snowman, basically.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, and so then Scooby and Shaggy are scared because they don't want to be there, and they finally get a hold of Velma, Fred, and Daphne, and they know they're somewhere else, and then, Daphne's sad they have to leave Paris, but they try to go find them, and then they go on this whole adventure up into these caves and caverns and all this cool stuff, and there's kind of like cultural stuff. It's really cool.
I must have seen this at some point.
There's a really funny
vague memories
plane
of this.
like flyer person.
Pilot?
Yes, that, a pilot. And he's like, he has this big red beard. He's looking for the abominable snowman. He's kind of obsessed with it.
Oh, okay.
And he kind of like it's like a cargo plane, and I think he kind of disappears, and he's kind of the red herring kind of antagonist character.
Ooh. Oh, they love a good red herring.
Oh, yes, they do.
Scooby-Doo.
They
love it.
It's a great movie. I don't think it's long. Like any of the Scooby-Doo movies
They're like
aren't that
an
long.
hour and 10
Yeah.
minutes. It's not terrible.
Yeah, so that's a good one. I remember I watched it so much I actually got bored of it at one point growing up, but then I went back to it obviously because it was one of my favorites. But yeah, I also had all of the original Scooby-Doo on disc.
I have the one of the very first things we started with. We had Scooby-Doo's Creepiest Capers, which was like best episodes of the original show.
Master of Puppets is fun.
Anyway, that's my audition. I'm gonna join a band.
Gonna join a band.
I'm gonna replace Logan as singer in New Venice.
I'm gonna start singing Defying Gravity. Okay, 2, 1.
Come on, Lee. We're waiting.
Defying gravity.
There you go. That's beautiful.
That's the sound of music.
Beautiful. I was gonna say wrong musical. I think. I was like, that doesn't sound right. I don't remember that one in Wicked.
No, she goes like.
Yeah.
Sorry
that
for
one.
anyone listening with headphones.
I'm trying to see on the recording if our audio just like peaked. I think it did.
Sorry, guys.
But
popular.
What else was I gonna say? I think it's not a good movie. I think about the Scooby-Doo Curse of the Lake Monster movie so much.
That one,
Lee.
that's the second
It is
one
absurd.
to the Mystery Begins.
I think about it at
Crazy.
least once a week.
Well, we
Just
were all
because
so upset about
it's-
Velma and Shaggy kissing.
That was
We were so upset.
If there's one thing about Scooby-Doo adaptations, they're always trying to get Velma and Shaggy together, and it never works.
Because you already have Fred and Daphne that are kind of assumed to be together.
Yes.
And it's always insinuated.
They have this thing. It's like,
Why do
oh,
we
will they, won't
need
they? Are they
all
going to
of the
say it? Are they going to
friends to be
speak about
together?
it? I feel like Velma and Shaggy, it just doesn't work because all it feels like is like, oh, we've got this character that's a boy, this character that's a girl. That means they have to be romantically entangled. It's like, no, it doesn't.
It's not how it works.
That's not how it works. Do better, guys.
Yeah, but after we watched The Witch's Ghost, I made Shelby and everyone else who was there watch the Smosh reunion video.
That was crazy.
That one is
and
really
I
funny.
loved
So
it.
Smosh is like this YouTube kind of like company. Like they're actually a company now. It's not just like a channel.
They were part of GMM originally. I
Yes,
love
they
GM.
were.
I love Good Mythical Morning. Shout out to Good Mythical Morning. Rhett and Link,
shout out
I
to
know
Rhett
you're
and
listening
Link.
to this
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
We love you. And we also love you, Smoshcast.
Yeah, and
Beautiful.
Smoshcast, who's definitely listening to us, our good close personal friends.
One day when we're famous, they will be. They'll be like,
yeah.
remember that recording where you called, you
we'll
shouted
like,
us out?
We'll be like fanning ourselves with a stack of money like, I barely remember those days. It's all a haze, college.
But they do a series where they do reunion skits where they act as they all dress up as characters from a classic TV show, and they act like what was filmed was like it was actually them and it was happening. Like it was kind of like a camera crew followed them around type of a thing. But with the Scooby-Doo one, it's like the characters are real, but they were acting in the show.
Yeah.
And so it's talking about their lives after the show ended and all that stuff. And it is really funny. They do a fantastic job.
It was like, what, 20, 30 minutes, but it flew by. It was hilarious.
Flew by. You know, we have, Fred, he has tattoo sleeves and he's sitting here like, I'm a ghost hunter. I hunt ghosts now. And then Shaggy's a recovered like drug user and he's like
Daphne's definitely running like a multi-level marketing scheme related to skincare products.
Yes, she's trying to sell the skincare products to people.
Velma has a blog.
She has a blog and I think she has like a she said she had a book company or something.
She has a book company.
It's like she had some sort of like smaller company.
They have a bit where like Scooby-Doo, they have the original Scooby-Doo. He's like deceased, so his great-great-nephew, like grandnephew is here. And they have a bit where they have this Scooby-Doo stuffed animal that they act like is like the taxidermized body of Scooby-Doo. It's quite funny.
Crazy. It is crazy. It's great. They yell at each other. They cry together.
It's like a reality TV show. It's like
someone.
Scooby-Doo does reality TV.
Yeah,
it was pretty
crazy.
funny.
It was very funny. I think we all had a laugh.
Yeah, it was good.
I love Smosh, and definitely
Smosh
they do some funny other ones. So if you want to look up Smosh reunion videos, they're pretty funny. They did a Teletubbies one. They did a Family Guy one.
I've seen the thumbnail for the Family Guy one.
That one was funny. They did where like Lois, it insinuates that she's like been cheating with the officer the whole time in the wheelchair. You know that guy?
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I almost said Brian. That's the baby.
That's
the baby.
Is that the baby or the dog?
Oh, is that Stewie?
No,
Which one is
Stewie's the baby.
Stewie's the baby. Brian is the dog. I
Yes,
don't watch
okay.
Family Guy.
I don't either, but it was funny still watching because I know the characters.
Mhm.
Like I know they're like. I knew the
Yeah.
premise, but anyways, they're funny.
Still fun. And I'm gonna have to. I am gonna have to write this sometime. I'm gonna have to steal the plot of the second really bad Scooby-Doo live action movie and make it a D&D campaign.
You
'cause
have to.
all of these like high schoolers working at one of their rich uncle's like summer camp or country club near the lake, and there's weird stuff happening in the lake. That's the perfect setup.
Oh, perfect.
They
setup.
could have done such cool stuff with that, and
There's,
then
like,
they're
a
just
witch
like,
involved.
nope, time for our second nonsensical musical sequence. And I was like,
Yeah.
what? Guys, what?
Yeah, Velma kind of has like a were-frog like situation going
there's
on.
like the spirit of this witch is possessing her, who's angry that
yes,
like
because she
why
found a
is it?
crystal.
She found a crystal.
It's because she was burned at the stake. She was a witch in like
Yeah.
the witches' trials or something, and
Mhm.
she is like upset and wants to come back to power and get back at all the people that like wronged her.
Yeah.
And Velma finds a stone on the beach, and of course, it's one of the stones
It's kind of
from
like
her
a one ring
staff.
situation.
Yeah.
Where it's like this corrupting magical object. And she's like, my precious.
Yeah, it's crazy. So Velma kind of becomes this frog
This
creature.
giant frog that's like rampaging. It's a weird movie.
It is a weird movie.
There's one point where Daphne and Fred are like arguing, breaking up in this boat they're sneaking in to try to find clues, and it's like
flooding.
filling with water, and they're about to die, and they're just yelling at each other. It's like, whoa,
It's like, what is happening, guys?
whoa,
Calm down,
my
guys.
goodness.
No, it's a fantastic movie.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
I honestly, is it a good movie? No. Do I like it? Yes, because it's insane.
Yes.
So fun. And again, I still think it's such the perfect setup for a Monster of the Week campaign. I'm gonna have to do something with that.
I'll play that with you.
We should. That'd be so fun.
It would be very fun.
That'd be so fun. I do have one pre-written Monster of the Week thing that I do want to try to see if I can get done with like you and Leanne and people.
Yes, I remember. We
It's
talked
mostly
about that.
done. It's mostly done. But I'm gonna play Material Girl now because it's almost time to go. So we'll be Material Girls.
Oh yeah.
But let me think. What else? What else can we talk about? We have 5 minutes. We're almost there. It's almost time to go.
We
I
could just
think-
do like a quick list of what we did.
That's
like
true.
of like the other things. Like I know we watched Paranorman.
We watch. Oh, I love Paranorman. I could write essays about it.
That was a
I
good one.
could honestly. I could write a musical for that movie.
That would be iconic, and you have to.
I
now.
could write
you
a
can't say
script.
that and not do it.
I could
You're
write a
doing it.
script for like an off-Broadway Paranorman production.
You know, why
Do
don't
I know how to write music? No.
But we're gonna
Logan
do
knows music. I'll do the writing part, and he'll do the rest.
Beautiful.
Obviously.
A McGranahan's Twins
Yeah.
original.
Yeah, exactly. McGranahan Twins collaboration.
Collaboration.
I still think my mom jokes about this. It would be pretty cool though if he ended like getting big in the music industry, and I was able to somehow do costumes or something. And you could
the
be like, we got,
M&T
and you can have people being like,
siblings.
we need the McGranahan twins for this movie. We need them.
We need them.
We need them.
Sign
Actually,
us
I don't
up.
think we'd do our job. We'd be too busy goofing off.
Probably.
I'd be trying to like design stuff. He'd be
goofing.
like, that looks terrible, and then I dump water on his like keyboard.
be like, well, you know what, Logan? Screw you.
Yeah. And then I
Push him down a set of
I
stairs
put
again.
I put the music he's composing in a shredder, like
Oh,
a paper
gosh.
shredder.
And then what would he do back to you? I feel like he would.
He takes a seam ripper to all my costumes.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, no.
No, Logan, no.
Yeah,
That would be funny.
that would be kind of funny. I love Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
I showed you the picture of this mystery van at my job.
Yes.
It's
I wanted to see that so bad.
fun.
Someone
it's
sent
there
me
until
that
March.
shortly after. Oh,
It's there until March.
that's next month, right?
Wait, or is it? It's there until May. I lied. It's there
Okay.
until May 4th. Because I keep thinking, I always get March and May confused. I kept
Hey,
thinking it's
they're
there
both
until
M months.
March, but it's only been there since January. And I was like, well, January to March is a weird runtime. I know D&D was there way longer than that because D&D was there since when I left in like August to basically the beginning of January. That was a good chunk of time. So I'm like, in my brain, I keep going, March? That doesn't make sense. Oh, it's May.
It's May.
It's so fun.
Maybe
The-
I
the
can make a
horrors.
trip up like after
You
the semester
should.
ends before I start working
You
again.
should.
I could stay a few nights and we could go.
Could be fun. Could be fun. Well, you should do that. That'd be so fun. I'll get back to you on specific dates, but
Okay.
They put me there for a whole day before I came back, which was kind of nice because I like Scooby-Doo. The horrors I saw. Because we have fake food there, and children see the fake food, and they go, delicious sweet treat just for me.
It looks so
and
real.
It looks so delicious, and they put it in their mouths, and I go, don't put it in your mouth. It's not real. Lee, I'm not even kidding. There is a kid, because there's an area where you can make like the super tall sandwiches out of fake food, like they do in the cartoon.
Yeah.
It's so fun. But there was a kid one time that had like this fake little ice cream scoop right in his mouth. I just hit the mic. That's my bad. All in his mouth, and I go up and I go, hey, that's not real. Don't put it in your mouth. And the kid goes, yes, it is. And I'm like, no.
Can you taste it?
It's not real.
Does it taste like plastic?
I was going, it's not real. Can you take it out of your mouth, please? He's like, no, it's real. Meanwhile, the kid's mom is just standing there, like, holding another baby, just with a 1,000-yard stare ahead. And I'm like, oh, goodness. And there's a point, there's sometimes at the museum, there's a point where, like, I'll walk into an area, I'll see it's a mess, and I'm like, that's a later problem, and I walk somewhere else.
That's so real.
Just because sometimes there's so many people there doing so much stuff, I can't even get in to fix stuff. So I'm just like, I'll deal with that later. It's fine. It's so fun.
And sometimes, too, they kind of rely on you to be like a babysitter. Like, I know when I was a lifeguard, that's what it was like. And it's just so hard because you can't. It
is. It's the same with the museum. People pay money and then they think they can do whatever they want there and they can let their kids run around. It's like, the employees will look after them. No, we won't.
No.
Our job is to, like, if your kid gets lost, we're supposed to find them and help them. We're not there to babysit. No. Guys, please. I know you paid like $20 to be here, but please be nice to us. Please be nice. Please be nice to us.
Let's petition to be nice to the Strong Museum.
Be nice to Strong
workers.
Museum. All staff. Be nice to security. Be nice to the people that work at the food places. Be nice to the guest services hosts. Be nice to the custodial staff. Please. And thank you. Please. Have a nice day. We just went on a very big tangent, but it works out because our time is almost done. Yeah. Our time basically is done. So do you have any finishing thoughts, Lee?
I just want to say I am excited to be back.
I'm also excited. It's nice to be back. It's nice to be back in the booth. It's nice to be talking.
It feels good. Oh. Sorry, that is my alarm.
I for some reason I thought that was my phone and I got very confused.
No, sorry, that is my 8 o'clock alarm.
Wow.
Yeah.
8 o'clock alarm.
Goes off every day. And I
mean,
always forget about it.
That works out because that's keeping us right on track.
Yeah.
If we ever get distracted one time, your alarm's gonna go off. We're like, it's time to go. Well, anyway, that being said, we are going to bid all of our 3 probably listeners, if they're even still listening at this point, adieu for the night.
Yes.
Good evening. This has been Peculiar Happenings. I'm Shelby.
And I'm Lee.
Stay weird.